Namaste yogis, Jacqueline here, and I wanted to share with you my Earth Day flow. So even though Earth Day was a few days ago, every day is an opportunity to celebrate the earth which sustains all of us. So we want to start in a comfortable sitting position. You could always sit on a block or a blanket if you need to here, and it can be cross-legged or whatever serves you best in this moment. Try to find an upright but relaxed position in your spine, and then close your eyes. Begin to focus on your breathing. Much like we are alive, we have this breath within us, so does the earth we live in. And if we really look outside and listen, we can see all of the ways in which the earth breathes. A common example to visualize here is the ocean. Imagining the waves crashing upon the shore, rolling in and out, just like your breath. And doesn't it feel so good to breathe? Make sure that you're doing this as you practice. So often unconsciously we begin to hold our breath. But do your best to let it flow the whole time. If you haven't already, open up your eyes. We want to breathe in, lift the arms over our head, sit really tall, but at the same time press down into your hips. When you breathe out, lower your right hand to the ground. Lift and lengthen a little more through your left hand, and then reach to the right side as far as you'd like. When you breathe in, lift back up again, bring your hands overhead. When you breathe out, lower your left hand down. Right arm's going to lengthen and then reach over. Breathe in one more time, lift the hands up. And now as you breathe out, we want to twist to the right side, dropping the hands down. So one's at our leg and the other one's behind us. We're going to hold for 2 breaths in our twist. And we'll come out like we came into it. So when you breathe in, start to unwind, lift your arms over your head. When you breathe out, twist to your left. One hand's behind you, the other's at your leg. And we hold here for a couple of breaths. We'll breathe in again, lifting up, arms overhead. Bring your fingertips towards your shoulders, have your elbows out wide. And try to draw circles with your elbows here. If you can, circle in both directions. Then let your arms release, and you could always shake them off if you need. We also want to switch up the crossing of our feet. And for these next poses, if you have a strap, maybe bring that nearby. We want to lift our right hand to the ceiling, and you could hold a strap with that right hand. We want our right elbow to then bend, taking our hand to our upper back, like we were going to give ourselves a pat. Let your left hand reach towards the floor and try to flip your palm back. Then bend the left elbow, working to bring the hands to meet. And if you've got that strap there, just finding two places that you can hold on to it. And you don't want to force anything in this pose, but maybe work towards getting that right elbow really drawing upwards towards the ceiling. But at the same time, that right shoulder relaxing away from your ear. I want you to take 2 more breaths here. It should feel nice for the front of the body. See if the collarbones can get any wider. And release one hand at a time, so the left and then the right. You could shrug the shoulders if you need, switch the strap to the other hand. And we're going to repeat that with our left hand lifting up. And you could hold the strap there. Bend at your elbow like you're patting yourself on the back. Have your right arm reach towards the floor, palm behind you. Bend the right elbow, bringing it to the low back. Maybe you're holding 2 parts of your strap, or maybe you have the space to get the hands to connect. The 2 sides of the body tend to feel different, so don't force it. And hold for a couple of breaths. Releasing again, one hand at a time. First the right, and then the left. Again, shrug the shoulders if you need. If you had the strap, you could set it aside. We're going to do one more thing here, sitting. Reach your arms to a T. Take your right arm, cross it over your left in front of you, kind of crossing at the elbows. And now either reach for opposite shoulders or try to bend your elbows so that your fingertips go up to the ceiling. You've got one on top of the other. And I want you to breathe into that space at the upper back, kind of between the shoulder blades. And maybe tuck your chin in just a little bit, feeling the back of the neck get even longer. We'll do one deep breath. And then we'll lift our head if we tucked in our chin, release the arms, shake them off if you'd like. And we'll quickly do that on the other side, extending your hands out to a T. Bringing the hands in front of you with the left over the right. Maybe bending the elbows and taking the fingertips up. Or if you need to for this side, reaching to opposite shoulders. Remember, you can always modify. Day to day, we feel different. Just like day to day, the earth is different, especially here in North Carolina. Take one more breath. Release your hands. Shrug if you need. And then meet me on your hands and knees. We're going into our tabletop pose. As we do so, you could put a blanket or double up your mat under your knees for extra support. And if the wrists are needing some extra attention today, you might take fist, or you could even come up on your fingertips. We're going to begin with some cow and cat. When you breathe in, tilt your hips forward, drop your belly to the mat, lift your chest up and look up. When you breathe out, tilt your hips back. Begin to round into the spine through the upper back and draw your chin in towards your chest, kind of like an angry cat. And then just repeat that. When you breathe in, tailbone's going to tilt forward, belly drops, chest lifts, we look up. And when we breathe out, tailbone tilts back. We start to round into the upper spine and the chin tucks in. Do that about 3 more times. Inhale to come forward. Really opening and expanding, and then exhale to come back, really rounding and relaxing. Go again on your own. And then find that neutral tabletop pose. This next one's a deep shoulder stretch. Start to lift up your right hand towards the ceiling. Take in a deep breath. And as you breathe out, twist your right arm under your left. Maybe your shoulder goes to the floor, but you don't have to force it. And if you have any props like a pillow or blocks, you could always tuck it underneath. You might be able to come so that your head is on the ground. And if you're there and feel okay, there's a couple of options with the left hand. You can slide the fingertips to the front of your mat. And that helps that left side really get long and open up. If you want to really focus in both of the shoulders here, like one of those sitting poses we just did, we're going to bend that left elbow and kind of reach it towards our lower back. And it's almost like you are going to grab your right hip. And if you're in that, you can continue to twist a little bit deeper. We'll just take a couple of breaths here. No matter where we're at, we want to make sure that our left hand is by our head. We'll press into that left palm to lift ourselves up. When you do so, lift your right hand back up towards the ceiling. Nice little counter stretch. And then you can drop that right hand. Return to all fours. Let's do that on the other side. Your left hand's going to lift up. And then you're threading underneath the right. And it's different between the two sides, so see how far you want to go. Maybe the right hand slides to the front of the mat. Maybe it reaches back, coming towards the left hip. Another thing to try and think of here is to have your hips over your knees. See if you can find that body awareness. And then from here, we're going to release, returning to all fours. So a couple of things that we can do here. We want to bring our knees together and take the hands a step forward. So we're coming into kneeling plank. If you're feeling pretty strong today, come down to your elbows, have the fingertips to the front of the mat, fingers spread out, and then pop the knees back up for forearm plank. So you can take either one today, kneeling plank or forearm plank. We want our gaze to be forward. That space between the eyebrows relaxed, and our belly button hugging in towards our back. Take one more breath, and then we want to lower all the way to the mat. And you're going to take your elbows wide, let your hands stack one over the other, rest your forehead. Kind of like a reverse savasana pose. You might find the strap if you have one of those. We're going to do a little stretch for the knees and for the quads. You might prop up a little bit here on your elbows. We want to bend our right knee. See if we can reach back towards it. We're not working on a deep back bend here. We really just want to focus on stretching the leg. So pull the heel towards the hip. Make sure you're not forcing it. Try it for a couple of breaths. And then do the same thing on the other leg. Bending that left knee, reaching back for your ankle, your heel. Strap can loop around your leg. Whatever helps. And then we want to release, so we're going to have both legs straight back behind us. We're actually going to take our arms back behind us, finding locust pose. Begin to lift your head and your chest. Try and stay really long in your spine. Begin to lift up your feet, squeeze your thighs, the top of your legs. Lift your hands and maybe bring them to connect behind you. If you feel pretty good with that, try to press your hands back, getting this even bigger opening through the chest. Take one more breath, and then release, bringing your hands under your shoulders. We want to press slowly back up to all fours, and then sit the hips back to the heels for child's pose. There are several ways to do this. Just try to find something that feels relaxing for you. We consider this to be a pose that we can come to any time that we need rest in our practice. And then again, we'll lift up to our hands and our knees. Tuck under the toes. Lift the knees. Press the hips towards the ceiling, finding downward facing dog. And really try to not have a lot of weight in your wrist. You can press into your palms, your knuckles, grip at your fingertips. Feel all of your arm working, all of the arm really strong. Could always pedal out the legs as well. We're going to hold for 3 more breaths. And then we'll hop, step, however we want to make a transition to forward fold. When you breathe in, halfway lift up. Get really long in your back. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. And when you breathe out, fold forward again. Now, have your knees bent. Start to sit your hips low. And we're going to rise into our chair pose. So hands lift to the ceiling. Belly button is hugging in towards our back. And then we'll stand up completely, bringing our hands to meet at our chest. From there, let your arms relax by your side in mountain pose. We'll pause for a moment here to reconnect with our breath. Maybe roll back your shoulders. Relax your jawbone. We'll go into a slow vinyasa to begin. Breathe in, lift your hands overhead. Breathe out back into forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, get really long in your back. And as you exhale, take your hands to the ground. Step back the feet for plank pose. Drop to the knees if you need. And moving through the vinyasa, we exhale to lower into our push-up or chaturanga. And we inhale into the cobra or upward dog. We'll exhale to move to downward facing dog. In the downward dog, begin to step the right foot to the hands. Lower the left knee. Start to look forward. And if your balance feels okay, go ahead and lift your upper body, bringing your palms to meet at your chest. And so if you're up here, try to take a twist, turning towards your right leg. When you breathe out, undo the arms, taking them to the floor. Step the feet back together and lift the hips to downward dog. Let your left foot step up and lower your right knee. And if you've got the balance, go ahead and lift your upper body, palms meeting at the chest. We want to twist to the left. Breathe out to lower, hands to the ground. This time, let's step the feet together for forward fold. Breathe in to halfway lift, and breathe out to fold forward. Breathe in to stand up and lift the hands up. And exhale, hands together at the chest. We'll keep our palms together. Get really strong in your legs. Press down into your feet. Shift the weight of the body into the right foot. Take the left foot to the ankle, shin, or inner thigh. And here we are in our tree pose. Holding for a few breaths here. And then swiftly switch to the other side. Finding the alignment that you need for this side of your body. And holding and breathing in your tree pose. And then releasing. So we have both of our feet on the floor. Arms can come down by your side. And we're going to go through a full sun salute. Breathe in, lift your hands above you. Breathe out and fold forward. Breathe in to halfway lift. Breathe out to plant the hands, step the feet back, and lower down into a push-up. When you breathe in, lift to a back bend. And when you breathe out, find downward facing dog. Take 5 breaths here. And after 5, you can hop or step to bring your feet back to the front of your mat, finding forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to stand up, lift the hands up. And exhale, either arms by your side or palms at the heart. We're going to play with a little bit of balance here in our mountain pose. Let's lift our left leg parallel with the ground. If it's a little hard, you can stay bent at the knee. Balance for another second. And then we're going to step that left foot back 2 to 3 feet to set ourselves up in triangle pose. So the left toes will most likely face the long edge of your mat, while your right toes are turned to the short edge. You might even try to align so that the front heel, if you were to draw a line, meets at the heel or the arch of your back foot. Your arms extend in a T, so you essentially have one hand over each leg. We're going to look towards our right hand. Now, when you do a triangle pose, make sure that your hips don't go out behind you. Try to keep them underneath you. And you're going to reach over your right leg as far as you can. When you don't feel like you can reach anymore, then the hand's going to lower. And it could hold onto your big toe. It could hold your ankle. Maybe it's your shin or even a block. Arms are kind of staying in a T, so when the right one goes down, left hand lifts up to the ceiling. We want to maintain this openness across our chest here. So we're wide through the collarbones. If your balance feels all right, look towards the left hand. Take a deep breath. We want to slowly come back to stand, press into your feet. Lift yourself up, keep your arms in a T. You might scoot that back foot a little further away, giving you space to bend your right knee for warrior 2. So your arms are still in a T. Really reach out from the elbows to the fingertips. and let the shoulders relax down your back here. So we'll do a little bit of a flow from this warrior two pose. Flip your right hand. Let it lift towards the ceiling, and your left hand might rest at your thigh, or you might even wrap it behind your back. We'll take a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to bring our arms back through a T and go and take your right elbow either to your hip crease, to your thigh, or reach to the floor. Swing your left arm up to the ceiling and then over your head. So from your left foot to your left hand, you want to get as long as you can. That left palm is turned towards the floor, and maybe we're looking out towards the left hand. It's our extended side stretch. Take a deep breath. Press down into your feet so you can rise back up into your warrior two pose. Straighten out the right leg, pivot all the toes to face the long edge of the mat. So it's kind of like a star pose here. When you breathe out, bend from your hips and fold forward. Try to drop the top of your head towards the floor and press a little bit into your toes. When we breathe in, we want to halfway lift up. We're going to walk our hands towards the front of our mat, finding a lunge. And from that, we want to set up the left foot. We'll spin our heel in towards the center of the mat, toes turning out at a diagonal. And the goal here is to get that left foot flat. Now that the foot's flat, you should have a little more balance to stand up. And use that front thigh if you need. Your hands are going to lift straight up to the ceiling. This is warrior one. From here, bring your hands together. Press all of your weight into your right foot. Maybe slide the left foot up, or if you can, go ahead and lift it up. And so we just kind of want to hover with this left knee coming up towards the chest, balancing on our right leg. If the balance feels a little unsteady, this is where you'll stay. If you feel okay to do so today, bend that left knee and reach towards your foot. So your foot will come up towards your hip. You could stay like this, just stretching the quad. Or you can reach out the right arm. It can go up or be parallel to the ground. You can try to kick that left foot into your hand, coming into what we call dancer's pose. A standing balance that also includes a back bend. It's a pretty tough one. Try it another breath. And then return both of your feet to the floor. Finding mountain pose, standing tall, and breathing deep. We'll do that on the other side of the body. Breathe in, lift the hands overhead. Breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, plant the hands, step or hop back, and go through the push-up back bend sequence, or what we call our vinyasa. Finishing with downward facing dog, that upside down V, and taking 5 breaths. And remember not to get so caught up with the poses that you lose sight of your breathing. After 5, you'll step, hop, do whatever you need to come back to the top of your mat. Halfway lift when you breathe in, and fold forward when you breathe out. Rise to stand, lifting the hands. And then let's go ahead and bring our palms back together at our chest. This time we want to lift up our right leg parallel with the floor. Remember, bend the knee if you need to modify. And then we're stepping that right foot back 2 to 3 feet to set ourselves up in triangle pose. So right toes face the long edge, left toes face the short edge. Arms reach to a T. Look to the left hand and go forward. When you can't go anymore, lower the left hand to your leg. The right one lifts up to the ceiling. Breathe into the sides of your body while you're here. Press down into your feet and slowly stand up. Widen the distance at your feet, and then bend your left knee for Warrior Two. Arms still stretched out by your sides. And from this leg position, there's a couple of other poses that we do. Reverse Warrior, flip your left palm. Lift it, right hand to your thigh or wrapped behind your back. As you breathe, try to get your facial muscles to relax. Extended side angle comes next. The left elbow will come down to the hip, thigh, or floor, while that right arm swings up towards the ceiling and then over our head. Breathe through the right side of the body. And press into your feet to return to stand. Straighten your legs and pivot all toes to the long edge of your mat, coming back into our star pose. Now we want to take wide-legged forward fold. Bend from the hips and reach towards the floor. From here, your hands are going to walk to the front of your mat, bringing you into a low lunge. And we're going to spin our right heel in towards the center, toes out at a diagonal, aiming to get that right foot flat. Once you've done that, you should have the stability to stand up, use that front thigh if you need, and your hands reach straight up to the ceiling in Warrior One. From here, we try to get into that final balancing pose, hands together at the chest. Either slide the right toes up or go and lift that right leg up. And as you stand up, the right knee comes towards the body. And this could always be where you stay if the balance is a little wobbly today. But if you feel okay to do so, let's start to reach towards that right foot. We're bringing the heel towards our hip. Again, you could just stay like this, feeling that nice stretch through the quad. Or you can reach up the left arm and try to kick the right foot back. That's the dancer's pose. When you're ready to do so, return to mountain. Both of your feet flat. Breathe in and lift your hands overhead. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, plant the hands, step back to the push-up position, lower down. Breathe in to lift up into a back bend. And breathe out to downward facing dog. And from our downward facing dog, we want to make our way to some seated poses. So transition onto your tailbone and swing your feet straight out in front of you. Might feel good to shake out the legs or to even move the flesh out from beneath the sitting bones. We'll take a traditional seated forward fold. So breathe in, lift the hands, feel the spine get long. Try to keep that length in your spine as you fold towards the thighs. You might hold your toes, your ankles, your shins, wherever you could reach. And we'll hold here for 3 more breaths. After 3, we're going to breathe in and sit up, lifting the hands up. Then breathe out, let your arms come down. Let's bend our right knee, have the right foot flat. Maybe a hand's distance between the right foot and the left leg, just to give your hips space. Then place the right hand behind you, sit tall, and wrap the left elbow around the right knee. For a deeper twist, take it outside of the knee. And you're going to look towards the back of your mat here. And we'll just hold for 3 breaths. After 3, unwind and take your right foot either against the left thigh or the left shin. Your knee's going to fall towards the outer edge of your mat, and you could always place support beneath it if that helps you here. We'll breathe in and lift the hands over our head, and as we breathe out, we're folding towards our left leg. Continue to flex your foot here, toes to the ceiling. If the leg's really tight, you could always bend the left knee. We'll just do 1 more breath here. When we breathe in, let the hands lift up. When you breathe out, relax your arms down. Let's switch our legs, so extend the right one. We want to bend our left knee and begin with the foot flat. Sit tall, left hand behind you, right elbow wrapping around your knee. 3 cycles of breath. Unwinding to face the front of the mat, adjust the left foot so that it's at the shin or thigh of the right leg. Breathe in to lift the arms above you, and exhale to fold towards the right thigh. And just like the last time, we'll breathe in and lift our hands up to sit up. Breathe out, let your arms relax down. And then extend both of your legs, shake them out. Now, butterfly. We want to bend both of our knees, bring the soles of the feet to connect. Knees moving towards the outer edges of the mat. If it feels like your knees are up really high, let your feet be further away from your hips. You can just simply sit upright while you're here in this, or if it feels good for you today, try the forward fold. And see if you could breathe into any parts of the body that would feel a little tense or tight here. And if you are folding forward in butterfly, go ahead and return to sitting upright. And very easily, we just want to take our hands to our knees and draw the knees together. Make sure you've got enough space to recline on your mat. And once you've done that, hugging the knees up towards the body, we want to rock from side to side. Maybe even rock forward and back along the length of the spine. And then lift the feet up towards the ceiling, creating a little L shape in your body. If your hips need support, you could always tuck your hands underneath like they're in your back pockets. Otherwise, maybe holding the back of the legs. Feel free to point and flex your feet. And then start to bend your knees. Let's bring our feet back to the floor. We want our knees to be bent, our feet flat, and about hip distance between our feet. When we breathe in, we're going to lift hips towards the ceiling. Stay really strong in your legs here. Squeeze the thighs. See if you can lift any more through the heart. And if you wanted to do a deeper back bend, you can. We'll come out, bringing our hips to the floor. Maybe rocking the knees side to side like a windshield wiper. And then extending the arms out into a T, dropping both of the knees to the right. Maybe looking towards the left and holding for about 5 breaths. And then repeat the twist, taking your knees to the left, maybe looking over to the right. Once you've done that, you can come back into the middle of your mat. We want to take Savasana pose. So traditionally this is done lying completely flat. Find whatever is a comfortable, relaxing position for you. And use any props here if you need to. Take a few deep breaths, closing your eyes. We are all connected to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, and to the rest of the universe atomically. In yoga, it's a practice of connection, of unity, bringing together your body, your breath, and your mind, but at the same time bringing together humanity as a whole. Earth Day is a celebration of unity. It's the largest celebrated non-secular global holiday. And we should treat every day like it's Earth Day. Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.